All right, we are live. What is going on, guys? Commodore Labs here today, bringing to you guys another Kingdom discussion. Today, join with me to talk about chapter 541 of that Kingdom Greatness. I got Angry Anime Fan in the house. What's good, bro?
Well, yo, guys, I hope you're not feeling despair.
And yeah, man, and we got King Recon in the house as well. First time on here. I was waiting for that line, man. What's good, gentlemen?
Well, yeah. So that's your what is it? Line, King Recon, Kingdom.
That's his battle cry.
Yeah, that's the battle cry.
Well, okay. Well, that was actually kind of good. Mine is despair. So we all have a trait.
Definitely, man. Hey, when you put the glaive towards somebody's neck and you say despair, they know what's good.
Like, that's factual.
But yeah, man, we're gonna talk about the Kingdom Greatness. We got a few more people I think have been coming through afterwards later in the stream. So when they come through, they come through. But for the moment, we'll just talk about, you know, like our feelings on the chapter, give our ratings and stuff. And then for those of you guys who are in the comments right now in the chat and stuff, you want to leave your thoughts down, let me know. But if you're watching this after the video has been uploaded onto the channel, leave your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I'll hit you back as soon as possible. But with that being said, let's jump into this chapter. So, Angry, I'm gonna ask you real quick your rating on the chapter, your thoughts. What do you think of it, man?
Well, I wouldn't say it was unique, but for once we actually got a chapter that was on the south side, and I felt like this was needed. If there's one thing that Kingdom is very well known for, is that loyalty and honor and stuff like that in Kingdom. That's one of the biggest, strongest themes, and one of the reasons why I always like Kingdom. And here we had an example of a loyalty so strong to their lords that they didn't even want to die, while others choose to die. So that is kind of inspiring, but it's also a little bit tragic, because these two generals, they wanted to die after their lord, but they didn't. There's also a little glimpse of reality in this arc, because lord of theirs, he died in a pretty disgraceful manner, so to speak. He didn't die on battlefield, nor did he die of old age, although I think old age is also considered dishonorable in this war manga. He just simply died of a sickness, and even before his prime. So I felt like story-wise and into the characters, it was good. Other than that, well, it's foreshadowing despair. So, and I do not like despair, even if I'm obsessed with it. So that's my about it.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair thoughts. Fair thoughts. Recon, what about you, man? Your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I can't be the only one that thought of the Trunks flashback whenever he was crying in the rain with the battle cry, man. Like that's the very first thing I thought about. I absolutely loved that portion of the chapter, and I absolutely loved the of course the end of the chapter. It's just the one thing that always that caught me off guard whenever I initially read it was how they said that they hadn't fought in around 12 years, right? That's what they said. And with that being the case, he just popped right in there, came out of the bench for the first time of 12 years, and Euro stepped into a straight up swing and just wrecked all of them at once. And for me, that was really cool, because it just showed me that if you have the motivation, you have the will to do something, even if you haven't done it for so long, because you back in the past, you were doing it for a very, very long time. You're still able to be a beast. And it's in the Kingdom verse that is based off of a lot of like reality and like guys who are warriors in the moment. These guys from the past came in and are still going in. And I thought that was really cool. And I really appreciated, just like Angry was saying earlier, about how we got to see more from the South side, and this entire chapter was just based solely around the South side. And it was nice seeing their motivations and what is pushing them to do what they're doing, because now we can feel sympathy towards them. And I really, really enjoyed that. I think Gyon deserves the hype. The hype for him right now is pretty high. It appears that before I get to that, I really liked how him and Chogaru were hyping up Ohan, because they were like, oh man, that guy, we gotta watch out for him. So that was cool. But of course, the highlight of the chapter was the flashback. Them making a symbol to the Scarlet Sea, and how they should, his final words saying that whenever next time they get on the battlefield for him, that they shouldn't die for him. Instead, they should just paint the entire plains or the entire field as a Scarlet Sea. And I thought that was pretty awesome. But overall, just I would say a great sauce of a chapter, and the reason for it is just the overall package. Seeing it from the South side, yeah, getting a justification for why we should care about Gyeon and this entire portion of the battle. And once again, I just really love the fact that they haven't fought in 12 years, and he just popped right back in and just went in, man. I thought that was really cool because it just shows that if you were once a beast, you'll always be a beast, and that was cool to me.
Well, then, the same can be. Now I think I'm gonna get off topic, but the same can be said about the Wei dragons. They were locked up for a very long time, and yet their fangs were still very sharp.
True that. Very good point.
Yeah, I think for Gyeon, it might be a warm-up process, like they were saying, like he's just warming up. But at the same time, like, I don't think that rust is gonna last for a long time. I could see it definitely like going off by like the next hour or so. Man.
Absolutely.
Like, when Gyeon, bro, when he pulled up that glaive, and I love the design of it so much.
Same.
Like, had like double claws and stuff. I'm just like, there's no way. But we pulled it up, bro. It's like, it's gonna be good, man. Like, what the hell?
That is true. The glaives are among the most coolest weapons in the Kingdom verse.
Yeah, like, oh my god. But like, I might as well get into my part of this chapter, because look, if you guys have followed my channel for as long as you guys had, and like, hear my thoughts regarding Kingdom, I'm a big sucker when it comes to like the like series that have like potential for a prequel where we can dive into a history that we may not get into the main timeline, but when we get those inklings, it kind of makes that chapter like even more special for me. Agreed. I've been wanting information to know about Rin Shinjo ever since going back to Sanyu, when we found out Renpa and him were like sworn brothers, and then to find out in this chapter, like, it's crazy. They're equal. Like, even though we know the three great heavens, we would presume that Renpa is the god of the verse, and in this chapter, the way it's being set up, yeah, Renpa and Rinshinjo are equal, and we can say maybe the same thing for Chosha, who's like the other three great heaven. But the fact that we also like learn too that like he has like 10 generals in his group known as the 10 heroes, and if I'm not mistaken, based on like, because Oki, I don't think we've ever seen him have at least that number of generals when we went to Bayou and stuff. And going by that number, it's like, it goes to show, man, like these guys had like, they had men, they had people that were ready to die for the cause, and he had 10 of them willing to do that, who we can presume were on the same level as Gyeon and Chogaryu at a time. But now these guys have surpassed them, obviously, because they threw himself into the line of death, and then eventually those other two decide, they weren't going to do that because they respected their master. And bro, ever since 519, when we got that map, when we saw Gyeon there, man, I'm like, listen, I'm hyping up Gyeon. I feel something special with this dude. Chogaryu is great. I think, in terms of physical strength, he's going to be a monster. I wouldn't put him Mobu level yet, because Mobu is the strongest man under the heavens, and that's been confirmed in the manga already. But for me personally, I really am digging what Gyeon's like going to be offering in the story, and the fact that we got all this importance with his character, really being showcased. The fact that like, if you look at like all like the panels when like Rin Shinjo was talking, he was really like speaking towards more of Gyeon more than Chogaryu, and I think it really like shows that connection, as you said before, Recon, with the whole like him crying in the rain and stuff. That hurt me inside so much. And when you said the Trunks thing, man, now it really does hurt my heart.
I'm telling you, dude.
Because I'm thinking about it. It's like, oh my god. And I'm just waiting for Gyeon to go Super Saiyan. At least if his goatee does it, doesn't matter. But at the same time, man, it was just such a beautiful, beautiful like chapter for me. Because like, it's information I've wanted so much in the story. We got it. Again, I'm not a fan of Ohan, but the fact that Chogaryu did praise him the way he did in this chapter, saying that, he could be above Aku in possibly 3 years, hell, maybe even today. And I still do believe that, as much as I dislike the guy, I think there's a possibility that he's going to surpass him in this arc. There's no doubt about it. All three of them, Ohan, Moten, Shin, they're going to get their shine and stuff. And again, I've been saying for months as well, but when we saw that map and I saw Gyeon in the center and I saw Shin with Osen, I'm telling you right now, man, Shin versus Gyeon is going to actually happen in this arc, whether it be on the right, whether it be on the center. And
Glaive versus Glaive.
And I had a picture, and I pictured in my head since the very beginning how it's gonna go down. The fact that we got the stuff with like on the scarlet field, bathe them in their blood of their enemies, and I can already see it right there, man. Where it's like, for Gyeon, it's gonna be on the lines of like, you may be the man who symbolizes martial might, but I will be the man who will become the greatest general under these heavens. I see him ending 542. If he shows up and rolls up in there, man, I can definitely see him saying that kind of line. It's gonna be litty.
Absolutely.
That is a very cool way of describing it. And also another thing about that scene in the rain, I agree with both of you saying that. But there is also another thing that poets usually say. They say that rain represents the tears you cannot follow yourself. But when you cry in the rain, it is a symbol that your soul is at its limits. So that is a perfect symbolization of ultimate sadness. Your soul, the heavens, and yourself are crying, with no signs of stopping.
Yeah.
Therefore, the eternal sadness, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting scene there. It is
Definitely.
also, but yeah, also what you said, the fact that I do not like Ohon a bit. I mean, the guy is badass with the things he does. It's just that he is one. Although when I think about it, I don't think Moten has gone through character development either, but he has gone through zero character development ever since his debut. The only thing that has increased is his ego and his strength. That's the one and only thing that has increased.
And that's my thing. It's like it's like I wouldn't mind if we get a personality thing when it comes to Ohan, because again, that's why I said I would just want his personality to grow as this point in this arc, and I feel like now would be the time. Otherwise, you know what, man? If you die in this arc, I've already said before, but I'm throwing a block party in Toronto, and everyone's invited in the Kingdom community, and I don't mind. But at the same time, I do agree where you're
sick.
No. But in regards to the stuff with Moten, I do kind of agree with you in an extent where it's like, yeah, we haven't really seen that kind of development. And I think that comes down to like the fact that like if we go to the Fire Dragon, like between Coalition to now, we really haven't even seen Moten do anything aside from like, you know, the End of the Hills arc where he just kind of rolled up in like new garbs and everything. We don't even know what he's doing. He's probably playing around in the palace and stuff. But I do agree, like, yeah, like he hasn't really been like showcasing anything up until this arc. But as soon as he stepped into this arc, man, 519 onwards, like what he did with Kisui was absolutely beautiful. And then for me, again, like I might as well spoil it, but 535 for me, I think is my chapter of the year for Crimson Kingdom. But this chapter here as well, I think it has to be like in a contention as well for one of the best chapters this year when it comes to Kingdom. But oh man, I mean, like I do still think that Moten does need to get a little bit more development in terms of like from what we're seeing, like his strategy. I like it a lot. I do want to see him have some kind of combat. I don't want him to kind of end up like a Koshu where he was known like for his strategy alone. And I don't think that's gonna be the case for Moten's, considering the fact that like, you know, we saw him battling Kuyoku back in like the Coalition. Like he was handling himself on his own. And considering that I still believe that Kuyoku is going to most likely be the final opponent for Shin when it comes to like their generation, I think like if Moten's able to combat with that in combat, he should like by that point he should have no problem taking out a guy like Kisui or somebody above him afterwards. So I feel like still whatever happens in that battle on the left, he's got to be the one to take out Kisui. So you change the tides on the left, you claim the head of one of the top guys in Zhao, like that already guarantees. Like I mean, he's already general regardless, but this would be a great way to increase his fighting prowess. So it's not just to focus on his strategy. I mean, he has the best personality of the three. You know, so I mean, with Shin, like it's a tough one because Shin, again, he's an idiot. But Moten, at least he looks at the situation and kind of like, you know, understands like, you know, what to do in certain situations. Whereas like Shin, he kind of needs Kario 10, he needs Kyokai to be in there to kind of help him out a bit. But if we get that fighting bits from Moten, I mean, he's the GOAT for me regardless, but it'll just confirm he's the GOAT.
Yeah,
you know?
I can agree. Shin is the brute that can break through a wall with strength alone, and the other two brains keep working. I guess that's one of the reasons why he hasn't got any action this arc. And to be fair, I'm not shy of admitting that in these reviews, but it's honestly kind of aggravating me. So I hope, like you said, but I think Moten's, when it comes to battle, it's not that he is strictly a strategic player. I think I would place him more on a tricky kind of player, almost the same as what was his name again, To, that general. Because in To was described as a general who is difficult to predict, and Moten is one instance the same. He seems to hide behind strategy. But as we saw in that Coalition arc, he can handle himself once he gets into the battle. So I think he's the one who doesn't show his fangs until he must. And the fact that his opponent is Kisu, who has that extremely hot-headed Batte. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Batte suddenly fell into a trap. Because I always thought Batte would be a perfect opponent for Shin. They're both hotheads and they're both idiots. And it's clear that Batte has strength to overcome strategy. But he is clearly not smart to overcome a strategy.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering how Moten was going to break him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the same thing too, because like I still feel like in some, I don't know like how you guys would feel about this, but like in regards to Moten, I still feel like he's gonna feel some kind of like annoyance nor envy when it comes to like how the Coalition kind of ended for him, because we know like he couldn't do anything with the whole thing with Kanmei. Kanmei, like, you know, like was already a force that was beyond him, and like, his whole job was trying to stop Ka-En from coming in to try and stab his father from behind. But I think from that point, man, when Mobu, you know, was saying like, you know, he's my son, he's not going to die. I think he must have trained his son in those 5 years since the Coalition. and like, you know, really like increase his battle prowess from there. And like I could definitely see something, man, where like we're gonna get a flashback with Osa in this arc where he's talking to Mobu and he talks about how Moten was like annoyed about what happened to him. He felt like that, you know, it shouldn't have happened. He wants to get better at fighting and stuff. His dad probably like, you know, retrained him and everything. And then like he's gonna tell him because like, you know, I have faith in him because he's the son of Mobu. And then I still see it. He's gonna have the white eyes when he fights Kisui. He's gonna have the white eyes.
Oh
and
my
just like
God.
reminiscent of his father. And if he has the white eyes, man, I'm telling you right now, bro, I'm jumping out that window right over here. Like, it's happening. I swear to God, it's happening.
Yo, that's gonna be your profile picture for like 5 years, dude.
Well, I hope you took stunt training, so at least you won't hit your head when you jump out of that window.
Hey, I trained a little bit of wrestling here and there, so I've taken a pile driver once in a while. So. Oh my God.
Oh man, no, dude, yeah, that'd be flipping hype, man. Especially just going off of the flashback. I would absolutely love to see a flashback of Mobu, you know, talking to Moten, man. You know how awesome that'd be during like that little time period between the coalition now, like, you know, those little bits and pieces, even if he wasn't directly training him, like him just looking at him while he trained and observing him and just telling him, you know, what he can do and like what kind of mindset he should take. I think that'd be awesome, and I completely agree.
Yeah, because I could see it definitely too, man, where it's like I mean I could see the same thing too for Ohan, but for me I think would be a solid moment. Again, I don't like the guy and stuff, but the acknowledgement from his father to him I think would be such an impactful moment, because it's like we kind of see how the relationship is, where it's like Osen doesn't really look like he cares for him, but like he understands that, like, you know, like at the end of the day, like he's one of his warriors and stuff. But like I could see something where like Ohan does something that goes for what his father wants, even though it's like right now, like we saw happen the previous day, like it kind of went against what he wanted, and then like he was kind of putting him in a pickle until afterwards, you know, at the end of the day, you know, things kind of like went back to normal for a bit. But I could see something where if let's say he takes down Chogaryu, or he ends up taking down, for example, maybe Gakue or something, but it leads to something where the right are able to like establish themselves afterwards before Shin gets there and fights Gyoun, and he does something to kind of help him out. I could definitely see Osen saying to him, like, you know how he whispered to Moten, where he's like, "So you knew all along." I can see him saying, "Good job." And I would wonder how Ohan would take that, considering we don't really know, like, you know, how he would react to how his father would kind of like praise him, since we've never seen the acknowledgement of that in the series. And then that would kind of give us more insight to his character, where it's like, yeah, he does care about his father's opinion. I think like anyone who grew up with parents and stuff, you know, they care regardless at the end of the day, you know, how their parents would feel, you know, to whatever they're doing. And if their parents are disappointed, they're going to be sad at themselves. And if their parents are happy for them, you know, they're going to be happy. They're going to be more motivated to do more for their family than like they did before.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I take a real life situation, although it's not like this,
yeah,
you know, I have parents that care for me, but sometimes I still wish I could have done something very great for them, so they would feel more pride, even if they already say they are prideful. So I think
absolutely,
even if whatever relationship one has with parents, there's always one moment where they actually question themselves in life. What am I to do? What can I do? Am I gonna be able to do that in time? Everything else, or maybe just saying, "I want to be something for you, Ma, so you can walk on the streets and be proud," or something like that. But coming back to Osen, yeah, I think that was his name. I always confuse those two names. I find that guy, he is just the kind of general I generally expect to be. I mean, he is completely unpredictable for me. He always has that stoic face. I mean, I couldn't predict his linchpin or whatever. Lucatus. Sorry, I cannot pronounce that. I couldn't predict that theory. It's just that we still haven't seen his reaction ever since he lost one of his hands. You know, right? And I mean, what is that general thinking, really?
Yeah, like I really do want to know, because like at the same time, you remember from the first day, like he told Shin, like, I want you to go and claim the head of Kisui and bring him back to me afterwards. And the thing is, like, if he doesn't bring back the head, is Osen gonna cut his head off? And then it's like, now it's like, you look at the fact that Kisui's still alive. Granted, the left has been taken care of, but like, you look at the fact that like now he lost one of his own men. It's just like, okay, so in one day I've lost one of my top guys. You couldn't bring me the head of this guy Kisui, who I could assume that like what Kisui is like. Remember, he was a force to be reckoned with because of his works in Recon. Right now, what we're seeing from him, like in the left side, he does look vulnerable. He looks vulnerable. He doesn't look like he can kind of handle himself in those situations because he's not familiar. I don't think he's familiar with that environment whatsoever because he spent a majority of his life being in Recon. The fact that like we know from like in Kingdom, like, you know, his name wasn't known because he was stuck in there that entire time. Had he been out like maybe like someone like Shiba Show, who probably, you know, in regards to the east of like Zao, like he was known for, or whatever he did like in a what was the name of the city, Seika?
I believe so.
I think it's Seiko, but like for whatever like his works there, like, like he knew the areas and stuff. But for him, like I don't want to say Kisui's like a one-trick pony because he only knows, you know, how to take care of himself in his own hometown. But the way it's being set up right now, it's like he's set up for defeat because the fact that he's so vulnerable because he doesn't know the surroundings for him, and like that's horrible when it comes to like Moten, because Moten is somebody, he was able to adapt to everything that happened on the first day. The guy put himself on the freaking front lines and was able to survive afterwards. I like 534, man. Like
you're a mark.
I have to. I can the page number, page 16, page 17, man. But this guy pulled up. He said, "We about to do it." Cairo 10's like, "Wait, are you really gonna do this?" And he didn't say nothing, man. He just went in. And you know what? That's a good man. He took after his father, and that's a blessing. But hey, man, like, listen, look, I got bust with the volume, but volume 50, whatever the volume cover is, it better have my boy Moten on it. If I see Ohan on that cover, man, I'm flagging. You know, like the
it might have both, bro. To be honest with you, it could have both. But you know what? Does any other volume have a Moten on it?
As far as I'm concerned, I don't believe so. I don't think it's.
Well, they do, but they do have color pages.
Yeah, they have color pages. Yeah. Yeah, they have. I remember. I forget which one it is. I think I have 46. No, that's the other one. But I know that they have on the back of it. It has Moten on one part, and then in the little corner it has Ohan with the horse. So I made sure I cover that up. Okay. So we don't recognize that. Listen,
yo,
man.
it's got to be Moten, bro. After that hype, man. After him being temporarily promoted to general, which we know is going to be a permanent later. But
yeah,
like that with that chapter, you have to have him on the cover. You just have to, bro.
Yeah,
you'll be super troll, man. It's like that whole, because we're like, if I looked at the I always look at the content where it comes to like the volumes coming out, so I know exactly like, you know, if it's 9-10 chapters, and based on that content, what we could potentially get from a volume cover. And basically, when I look at the set for the volume 50 when it comes out, that's all Moten. If Hara puts Ohan on the cover, he is the greatest troll of all time. And that's when I stopped buying Kingdom volumes.
you send him. You got to send him a troll video on his Twitter. So he watches it.
You know what? I don't know if you've seen on Twitter, but I found this picture allegedly, but I found this picture someone put from Moten where it has like all the hearts and stuff. Like there's a fan edited picture, but it's basically what I think will be the cover for the next volume. So, Hara, if you're watching this, and all the team in the Young Jump, I got you a cover, man. We lit. But let me see. I want to answer real quick a question in the chat, because I know Mel might be coming in here, Melozo, but he said something that's very interesting. I want to know your thoughts on. So let me find the comment real quick. But he says that Olsen apparently is not on Riboku's level, and also said that Olsen is on Gohome's level. Now, with Gohome, I respect the dude. Regardless, I mean, he is a bitch for what he did at the end of the Fire Dragon arc to his former master Ryu, but at the same time, man, I can't doubt his skill that much. And considering that he's like, you know, the same generation as someone like Kanki and Riboku, like he's still going to be a threat to, you know, to watch out for, especially whenever we do end up going back to Wei, because he still has, you know, like Gaimo. Yeah, I forgot the other guy's name, but the one that had that crazy mask that was like really deadly and stuff.
Oh, I love that
big dude. That big dude, yeah. He still has him and everything, and like I just can't doubt it. But at the same time, man, Olsen is just like, bro. Olsen was said if he was in the like at the time with the 6th grade generals, he would have been one of them. And this is before like you know, all like these feats were known. So now that we're seeing all this stuff, it's being set up that he could either be the top guy when it comes to 6th grade generals, or he's in a class of his own just off strategy alone. And we haven't seen him fight. What if he is able to fight the way like you know, Oki did, or like maybe however Hakuki did? Like I would put this guy as high as the ceiling can, you know, take me afterwards.
I agree.
I think that's just another sign to show just how unpredictable Olsen is, because his power may very well be equal, if not more, than the 6 generals, but he never got any favor from the king because, well, he has the strange ambition to become king, and we once get to that point. Talented, gifted, and definitely unpredictable. The perfect poster boy for a general in this era. Mm-hmm. But it's also the greatest weakness, not within him, but in the other things, because again, he wants to be king. Why does he want to be king? Because of ambition, because of greed, or is he just that self-centered?
Yeah.
I think the one thing for Osen, in terms of like what level I can put him on, I can always look back to that chapter we were talking about earlier, where he's just sitting there and he's planning while allowing everyone to fight for him. It's one thing to trust in those around you, but it's another thing to have full trust in those around you, because that just shows how great of a leader you are, that you know the strengths of every single one of your soldiers, to where you have full confidence in them that they're going to carry out the goal while you also carry out yours. And I think that when it comes to the general position, or a position that high, that is the number one most important thing, is how to lead somebody into battle. And that's knowing how strong or how weak someone on your squad is. And I feel that Osen has that above Ruboku, no question. Definitely. Absolutely no question. And when it comes to just overall strategy, of course that can go either way. But with Osen, there's too much we don't know. And just like Angry was saying, that's the scariest thing about it, is the fact that we've known this guy for so long. We know how strong he could possibly be, and yet we still don't know. We're just basing it off of what we've seen and what we've heard from the guy, and of course, like, we've seen a couple of feats from him, but still, like, the unpredictability is still there, man. We still don't know, just like you said, Laz, how strong this guy could actually be in battle. Like if this man starts going out there and going ham, just like I said, like Oki did, and it's gonna be hype. But just from what we know thus far, Osen is most certainly for me above Ruboku, and that's no question for me.
Well, I mean, and the other thing I was gonna say real quickly too, because like if you go back to like because I remember there's something one of my subscribers was telling me. I think it was JCX or Corpop, but he told me a thing that, going back to like with Osen. I remember how he asked that favor to Shoei-kun. He's like, I have one thing I like to ask of you. We don't know what that favor was exactly. And they told me something that, what if we see a thing where they make a truce with Wei, where To is, right? And because of how the Yellow River is like in between where Zhao and Wei is, that they're able to get the food supplies through the Yellow River, like through boats and stuff, because To is going to, pass through like the lines of Wei to get them there. And maybe set up a line where they get to Retsubi afterwards. And from there, they take over Retsubi to get that supply line. So it kind of gives them like a second chance. And considering what happened to Heki and how he lost all his food sources and stuff, I can see that being as like a sneaky way. Like, he knows, like, there's a possibility that I lose my food. There's going to be a second way to be able to come in there with some kind of supply, so it keeps us going. So I like that idea. That would be really
me too.
Something that we wouldn't be able to predict.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, to be able to bribe them, like, again, anyone can be bribed in this day and age, regardless. You give them, like, we saw what Saitaku was doing, like, in Yan. Like, this guy was, like, walking through the borders, no problem, handing, like, pieces of gold and stuff. This guy was in his carriage while war was going on. Like, if he was able to do that, man, and God bless him, bro. Like, I remember the chapter number right now. I think it's 492, 493. But his demise, man, like, it's one of those, like, it didn't move me to tears, but it's one of those where, like, you're left with a hole in your heart, man, when you just see him, like, just sitting there. And then, like, the king of Key, when he was just, like, looking at me, he's like, oh, like, your body's cold. Like, you kept up for this long. It's just like,
yeah, I mean, that chapter, I like that chapter very much, mostly because one of the final words that old man says is, I don't know why, but the translation of the chapter, it just worked when he says, but if you do not fulfill whatever is your path of the sun or your destiny, if you're not bringing it into fruition, it will only be a foolish rambling of a child. I don't know, there's just something I like about that line.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome
maybe because he was an old man and he dared to say that to the
definitely. Yeah, he didn't care, man. This guy said whatever he wanted to.
That's
man.
Right. Cutting shoots all day, man.
This guy cut a shoe promo on Shoei-kun and Mobu. He did, because he's like, yo, like, there's somebody in this room who was stronger than you at one point, and then Mobu just kind of looked at him like, what? Like, what are you talking about? But then again, then we saw what happened in the State of I, and now, like, Shoei-kun's a god, man. Like,
yeah, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that is some powerful stuff.
Yo, because I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to stay up, so I just want to bring this up because I barely ever get to talk to other fellow Kingdom YouTubers, but I want to know what you guys are most hyped for, because for me, of course, with I want to see what the High Shin Unit's gonna do, but I cannot wait to see what's about to go down with the Mountain Tribe and the whole situation going down over there. I want to see their king against Yotanwa. And I think it's just a bloodthirst in me to see, like, two savages go absolutely at it. I want to see how Hara would draw such a thing. I want to see, like, what it would what kind of double page spreads we would see, panel structuring and whatnot. But I just want to know what you guys are most hyped for, because I can guess possibly for like Laz with some more motes and greatness, but like just I cannot wait to see the Mountain Tribe, you know, be pushed up be so far up against the wall to where they have to but pull out some newfound strength. These guys, the Mountain Tribe that we've known for being the absolute strongest allies of Chin, that whenever we need help, we can call upon them because they'll take care of anybody. For them to have found equals and people who are possibly stronger and more savage than they are, I can't wait to see how Hara is going to pull that off. Because instead of strategy, I think it's just going to be just straight up willpower. But we'll see. But I want to know what you guys think. What are you most hyped for here in this upcoming arc?
Well, I mean, again, what you said there is actually a very well noted. It's gonna be a bloodbath. However, I have also a feeling it's gonna be great despair. If the Shin troops help with that, then it will be good. But what I'm looking forward to, well, the only thing I'm looking forward to is something I do not think would happen, but if it did happen, then it would have been awesome. It's the fact now they are facing off against Riboku finally, and this will be the arc where maybe he finally perishes. So I'm just wondering, where is his final triumph card, Hawken? And if Hawken is here, then I'm just anticipating a Shin and a Hawken fight. And if that happens, well, then finally that brute of a monster will be put down.
Hawken, bro.
Here's my thing, man. When it comes to Hawken, I kind of said before in one of my previous discussions and like reactions, but the wild card of it all for Hawken, I see him showing up at Gyu and fighting Kanki. I see it happening, man. Because for me, it's like, if Kanki pulls off what he's going to pull off at Gyu, I mean, that is the greatest feat I think we're going to see in this arc until we take down Kantan. Because for how built up that Gyu has been as this like structure that cannot be broken into, can't be defeated, for him to be tasked with taking this thing over, I see him doing it. It's the matters how, we don't know. But like I remember saying back in the first day, like, you know, to kind of do a reminiscent of the Bayou arc, where we're going to see like Hawken show up like at night 1 and then kind of come in afterwards and start attacking people left and right like he did in Bayou, which kind of led to Bito's passing afterwards, you know, from like the injuries. But like for me, I kind of thought that was going to happen. But now, like, if I do see him, like, I don't want to wait until Kantan, because I feel like at this point in time, Riboku is going to have to summon him at some point in this arc, and then eventually lead into, you know, going into Kantan, where Shin's most likely going to take him. I don't see a purpose for Hawken in the rest of the series after this arc, and especially when it comes to Riboku, because with Riboku, it's like if he loses here, like look how many L's he's taken already. The coalition in itself, I don't care what anyone says, that's a massive L on him.
Yeah, that's the biggest L.
Like even if you can say, oh, the Yotanwa like showing up, like I mean, come on, man, Yotanwa pulled a Stone Cold in the invasion.
Facts.
And she made these land in their blood, man. Like, come on.
That's right. It's Austin.
He's
walking. He's talking.
It's also worth noting that in history, the character that Riboku was based on did actually suffer a pretty humiliating and a very sad death. And not to mention that the depraved king. I still remember when he was first introduced. That was one of the most depraved things I've ever seen.
Yeah, like the king himself, man. Like my thing with him is just like I still believe that like Riboku's going to be like the Jaime Lannister of Kingdom, and he's going to end up like assassinating him in some shape or form. You know, and I said like it's going to come down to two things: either we're going to see the U tribe come back into the story, in which that's where I see one of Kyokai's big fights when it comes to this arc. Against like the new tribe leader, regardless. Like
that's my chapter of the year right there. That
because Kyokai will watch them, no doubt, but I think it's going to come to a fact that like, you know, we're going to see them again. The other one I had, which this is like, again, this is me completely going out of the realm and stuff, you know, going into creative and everything. But the kids I see playing some kind of role in assassinating him. In terms of like, you remember how Riboku kind of like, to me, I felt like he waited the entire time for Tojo to kind of say like, I don't care for you people or whatever happens to you, because I know like one day I'm gonna probably die of some illness, and then afterwards it's all said and done. You guys can rot in hell for all you want. I think he was waiting for that moment to happen, where the entire council, all the important people were there to hear that, and they know, okay, your life doesn't matter. Riboku, if he's at the helm, he'll take care of everything. Because remember, if Riboku had those elite troops that are in Kantan, we're looking at a completely different war right now. There's no, like, even with regardless of what Osen's doing right now, Riboku will be at the advantage at the very least in this war, because he has those troops with him. He can deploy anyone at any place and any time. And I feel like if that was the case, that would, you know, that would be going down. So for Riboku, what I feel like is going to end up going down with those kids is that he's going to have those kids chilling in the tub, kind of like what happened with, you know, previously when we saw them. And as Tojo ends up finding out, let's say for example, Gyu gets taken over, whether it be true or not, they do like false news or something, right? You know, big news. But they do something on the lines where like as he's about to stand up, the kids stand up and they're seen wielding knives. And then they come in and just stab him to death. And if you know what scene I'm talking about from Game of Thrones that took place this previous season, then that's where the comparison comes through. And then that's how Tojo goes out.
I see what you mean.
Basically, he dies to his own pleasure.
Yeah, that would be a pretty karmatic and pretty fitting death for someone like him. Other than that, what I'm expecting, well, I don't know. I cannot predict anything new. I mean, Kisu falling. I was actually wishing he and Shin would fight because that would have been an emotional fight. Because Kisu, he wanted just to fight for his people, and Shin, he wants to fight for equality. And they're both having pretty morally standard goals. It's just that in the end, they are still enemies and had to clash. That would have been a very good moment. But other than that, nah, I don't really know what I can predict. What about you?
How many chapters do y'all think we have left in this arc?
I mean this arc.
Yeah, that's tough to say, man. Like because of the thing is that Katana's gonna be a separate arc, right? I could see it in June, maybe with June. That would be a stretch because again, this, like the food supply is only gonna last for how long? Was it 5 to 8 days or something like that?
I believe so.
And for me, it's like I do not see it going 8 days, especially what happened to Heki and his dumbass. But at the same time, man, like there's like I can see it ending within 5, maybe 6 days, stretching it. But it's gonna be like a situation in One Piece, you know, the whole thing. Hockey blooms on the battlefield, you know, when it's extreme limits. I think that's what's gonna end up going down for Yotama, where she's gonna push herself to new limits. And then coming off the war with Rozo and stuff, like she's gonna be literally a goddess. Like if she's not a goddess already, she is a goddess.
I agree.
Like,
yeah,
like I can't wait.
I can't wait for that, man.
The thing is, like, where people are telling me, like, you know, like I like again, Suiju is someone I want to see more of, and like again, I love the backstory to death when it comes to like Yoon, but I still feel like he's going to have a very important backstory. Like when I called the whole thing about him and only the language of the Shanghu. I've been mispronouncing the name, but like basically he has the fact that he knew that language, and then it's just like the Shanghu, and we found out like he knew like that language and stuff, and then like I still do feel like some of those scars that we saw back in Riboku before the coalition started, when Shin cut him and we saw like all those scars and everything, I think some of those scars actually came from Suiju, because if we go back and remember how like Riboku went and took out all the Shanghu people and stuff, I do feel like maybe Shun Suiju was one of those people that was actually a part of that army that he went and killed. And because, you know, he was like, this is like 8 years ago, like looking at the timeline, or 9 years. So we look at that timeline and we see like, you know, he could have been maybe, I'm presuming right now he's in his young 20s maybe. So like he could have been like a kid at this point. He probably did something to Riboku that caught his attention and brought him into his crew because he saw potential in him afterwards. So I could definitely see something like that, man.
That's actually a really, really plausible theory.
And then like that hypes him up even more, because it's like, yeah, I mean, like what we're seeing from him now is definitely dope. But if he was able to land a blow on Riboku, someone who we hype up as being one of the strongest and most intellectual characters in the series, then like this will only just hype stuff for Yotama even more. Because if she is able to step up, no problem to Hoken, and I still think that, you know, Rozo and them are probably below Hoken in terms of like battle power.
Yeah,
she should have no problem, man, in this war. I mean, it's gonna be tough, but I don't see it to where it's gonna be a struggle for her. Now, if you throw in Rozo, both for Baggio, and then throwing in Suiju afterwards, that's a tough one afterwards. And like she prevails through that, man. Like she's guaranteed 6 great generals until the casket drops.
That's factual. That's a shoot, Yonko.
Definitely. She's Yonko tier, man.
really going to be one big bloodbath, and that is. What we're all looking forward to, especially now from the recent chapters, old soldiers showing that they have not yet lost their rust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, felt like I forgot to say something, but I forgot it, of course.
That's all right.
Not important, really. Maybe I was gonna say I'm soon gonna be forced to leave this chat. I need to go out on a jog, but I think I had a question to you two. Now let's see here. I mean, if we now, I think we already discussed this, but I need to ask you anyway. If we go by the way you would have wanted to see, and what do you think how Riboku would lose or something like that? What do you think would be the outcome or the fight you most wanted? I know you said King Recon, I know you said the Razio fight, but what is it? What kind of which general would you like to have versus which one?
Damn. For Riboku, like for me, man, like that's tough because like for Riboku, I still feel like as much as I want to see Shin take on Hoken, I still feel like he's tied to Shin as well. Like Shin, I think in some way has to fight the both of them to get the kill. And I know when people say that might be seen as too much, it isn't really, considering how Hara has pretty much put this kid in a position where, like, you know, he has bad blood with the both of them. Well, Hoken did, you know, to Oki, and then, you know, what happens to Dukyu, and then finding out that Riboku was the cause for what happened to leading to Oki's death afterwards. Like the only retribution, like, you know, end to that whole cycle of, like, you know, the war that's between those two is Shin ending their lives. But now at the same time, I do see where Toho could potentially play a role and take down Hoken. But because of the fact he's in the Wei lines, unless that whole thing comes true where he comes from the Yellow River, goes to Retsubi, takes a supply line there, then maybe he comes in there. But I still feel like, well, we saw that godly war in the coalition. It has to be Shin that has to take the both of them. And that's how it's closure for Oki at the very least.
I'll say this when it comes to Hoken, because how do I put it? Even though it's sort of like he has to summon Hoken, but because I think he has to, Hara is going to make it to where he's not. That's the way I'm looking at it in this arc. But when it comes to Riboku, just sticking on to Riboku, I think Shin has to do it in here. And the reason why I said that is because what better way to be promoted to general than by taking out Riboku, bro? A character that has been he's been trying to overcome. Bro. My man Dustan was good.
Hey, I come in, this nigga spitting facts. I thought I was the only one saying shit gotta kill Riboku, nigga. What?
Yeah, bro.
I've been saying the facts. What do you mean?
Shin's gotta take him out, bro. And then like, what better way to be promoted to general, the place he's been wanting to get to, than by taking out this dude that's been, you know, thwarting his plans for over 300 chapters, bro.
Fucking facts.
Yeah, like I was saying, man, like the whole thing, like I was saying, Dustin, before you came in, but basically, like, I still feel like, yeah, Shin has to be the one to take out both Riboku and Hoken, based on the fact that, like, in the story, like, because of how tied Shin is to them, it wouldn't, like, I wouldn't mind, like, Toho being the one to kill Hoken because of his master, but at the same time, like, when we got that amazing fight back at the coalition, I would feel like it would feel like a chance taken away from me to witness, you know, Shin gain that round 2, and especially since Hoken kind of said, like, you know, the next time we meet, I won't let you live, but I will remember your name. Like, that would be like, okay, then you die as a Toho. Like, that would kind of be so trash after. But, like, for me, man, it's just like, yo, like, for Boku, it's a must. Like, there's no other character, man, to be able to pull that off. Like,
yeah.
But do you really see Hoken coming in this arc though? Like,
that's my thing. I still predicted, dude. I think he's showing up at Gyu. I think he's gonna roll up at Gyu, at least chilling there, and he's gonna be like, you know, waiting like at the doors or something, and be like, hey, who the hell is this wanderer? Because again, like, he's done stupid shit before. Where he just wanders whenever he wants. Except that one time in the coalition, we rolled up with like what 100,000 or some shit when he went to do Q. So for me, it's like I can see it like, yeah, force all around Zao. This guy's gonna roll up wherever he wants and just show up and be like, yo, what's
my thing is though, I feel like the vibe that the arc has been setting up, it doesn't feel like Hoken should interfere with this part. But at the same time, I agree with you, lads. It's like, when does he ever feel? He just shows up out of nowhere, like, damn, Hoken.
Yeah, like I said, like I remember like the night 1, I like kind of like the correlation to the bio arc, because remember how like he showed up at night 1 out of nowhere, he started fighting with Kyokai, and then Bito's death afterwards. I was thinking we were gonna see a similar thing happen, maybe like either the first night of Gyu, or maybe, you know, the takeover for Gyu, or like the fights with Atsuyo and stuff, or maybe at the first fight with Retsubi, like him just showing up there. But the fact that now that hasn't happened, like I don't want it to wait so long, because we know he's gonna show up. It's just now a matter of like, okay, when is Hara gonna actually place them? I mean, we could say Riboku because it's his trap card, but when exactly is, you know, Hara gonna actually place them at this point in the story, where it's like he's not just throwing them in there because it's gonna make sense. Like at one point in time, Ken's going to be at the advantage, and then that's where he's gonna come in, and that's where, you know, it could change the tides again, whether he stops them from the tracks or Ken's gonna try and, like, you know, push him back or something. Like, so I don't know, man.
Osen got this in the bag, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. Oh, yeah. Bro, I need to know your thought. First off, Dustin, thoughts on the chapter, because I know you just came in now. And a question I have to ask you afterwards in regards to Mel, because he's supposed to come in through, but he hasn't come in yet. But there was a question in regards to something that he said regarding Osen not being on the level of Riboku and the fact that he's Gohir level. I want to know your thoughts after, but give me your thoughts on the chapter first and then dive into that.
To me, the chapter was a good chapter. I wasn't, you know, I seen your tweet, you know, oh, the best chapter of the year. I was like,
oh yeah, the hype took me, man. The hype took me. You can't do that to me, man. It took me, man. I wanted that. I wanted this for months, bro. You can't like it's almost like asking for the One Piece.
Dark Side was saying that, like they were saying it was like the Goyu and hype. Like I finally got what like I mean I knew that when I was reading the chapter like halfway through, like okay, they're gonna spend this whole chapter hyping it up, and it makes sense because when we first got this set up for this war, we was like, who are these niggas on the outside? Like who are these niggas? So you gotta hype these guys up to make them worthy opponents to be defeated in the reader's eyes, like not just some people we don't know. So it makes sense that they bring this guy over as reinforcement, they hype him up, they give him legitimacy in his backstory and give him motivation for the war to to fight this war. But I don't think it's the greatest chapter of the year. It was good. But as far as what Mel is saying, you can't take that seriously. You know why he's saying
I know.
You know why
Mel is my guy, but man, you can't talk about Olsen. You can't, like, I know it's not even disrespecting Gohome, but you disrespecting Olsen by putting him at that level, man, because we know he's higher than that, just off intelligence alone. And we haven't even seen the guy even swing his goddamn sword or glaive. Yeah. Like, because again, side branch over the main branch when it comes to the old family. But if Olsen's able to swing, man, and he has an intellect.
Olsen got this war in the bag, bro. I've been saying this for a while. There's no way Olsen decided to go deep into Zao territory and not have this war in the bag. Yeah. It don't seem like it because he's like, it's certain mistakes happen and they're like, damn, if Moten didn't do that, or if Ohan didn't do this, or if such and such didn't do that, then the war would be over. But it's something Olsen got. I don't know what it is, but it's something he got this war in the bag, bro. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Is Angry there? What's up, bro? We got a squad over here. Angry and Recon.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's up, Dustin? I'm sorry that you had to drop in almost when I'm gonna have to drop out because, it's a busy day. But yeah, that's you don't think that was the best chapter? I mean, I liked my favorite chapter must have been Moten raising up all these troops and Shin coming to the battlefield.
Exactly. Yeah. So that would be chapter 534 because when he got his general status was 535. So can I cheat and at least give the two of those chapters together and just call it 534, 535?
Hey, look, I call 519 and 520 Gintama the greatest, so you can, bro. You can.
No, that's fair.
That's fair, man.
But now this is where I want to ask you guys. In terms of like with this chapter, where would you rank it as the chapters of Kingdom this year? Like, would you put it in there as one of the top 10 best chapters this year for Kingdom? Where would you place it?
Well, let me ask you this before I answer, Elias, because I just caught up in September. So like, what chapters have come out this year?
Okay, when it came to which one for 539? Oh, sorry, 535. You mean or
no? I'm saying like overall, like what Kingdom chapters have come out this year? Like from 500 and something to 541. Like what chapters have come out?
I'm trying to remember because I remember I started covering Kingdom. 504 was at the last week of January. So I think I remember because I was in a discussion with Braga when we did his first Kingdom reaction. But I remember chapter 500 dropped exactly on January the 1st. So that was like the first chapter we got for Kingdom, and then because 499 was the final chapter we got for 2016 and 2017 onwards. It was 500 until 541. So, like, if 499 was the technically of this calendar year, then I would have given 499 without doubt. And I love Moten to death, but that chapter is what made me get on here and talk about Kingdom, man.
That's my favorite chapter in the whole series. At least I think I'd have to think about it. But
same, yeah. I think I mean, I've been saying 365 just because of my connection with Moten and his entire family and how Hakuro passed away. But like for me, after 499, bro, I was reduced to tears. That's very rare to do.
So for this year, it's 500 to 541 so far. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, because it goes from January. I do it personally from January 1st until we get to like the last day of December. I know some people they do it from November to November or something, or December to December, however it works. I mean, if that's the case, then I would give 499 each chapter of the year. But if we're going by like the calendar year as a total, I probably have to go towards either maybe 535. I look at this recent chapter being one of them. I look at 505 actually, because that's the one with Yotamo when she bathe these lands in the blood.
That one's up there for me, bro.
Yeah. 514 I would give it that because we got all the states and stuff, and then of course the beginning of Olsen's plan coming into fruition.
Guys, sorry, I'm interrupting your talk, but sorry, but I really have to leave this live stream.
Oh yeah, no worry, man.
All right, man.
Hey, but real quick though, guys, follow Angry Anime. I'll have his link down in the description below to his channel. Make sure to go and subscribe to him. He always talks about like Kingdom Greatness, One Piece, a whole bunch of other great series on there, man. Thank you for coming through. As always, man, you're welcome to come on anytime talk about Kingdom.
Thank you for allowing me to be in here, and thank you, King Recon. It was nice meeting you.
Oh, it was nice meeting you, man, for sure.
And you know that, and you know me, Dustin. We'll see you in another comment.
Oh, you already know, fam, and another stream for sure.
Hey, peace, man. Alrighty. So yeah,
if we include 499, I still wouldn't put 499 as the best chapter of the year. Because I feel like we're just going off the fact that it was that glaive that Shin got Oki glaive, which is a big moment. But at the same time, when that happened, and I don't know about everybody, but a lot of people was like, "Damn, it feel like it came kind of early." Even though it was still dope, it was like, "Damn, we weren't expecting him to get Oki glaive like right then." But even though it makes sense because they're about to fight Roboku, and you know, that's what kind of confirmed that he's gonna kill Roboku too, because he got Oki glaive. There's no way he's not killing that nigga.
I think at the same time too, because I think him getting, because remember, like this is like going back to like chapter 400, 401, when Toe was saying like, you know, this is the time where kingdoms will begin to perish, and I'm thinking like if the first say was gonna be Zhao, I think the only fitting way for all this to make any sense is if Shin gets the glaive, because I can't see it to where like let's say we're like the second to last state, whatever it may be, before we get to the final war, and then he gets the glaive. I kind of feel like he's gonna already progress so much to the point where he's probably gonna be handling that thing with maybe like 2 fingers swinging away at people and shit. So like I feel like now is the perfect time for it. I don't see him perfecting it yet until maybe towards the ends of the arc, or possibly going into the next arc when we get some like a little bit more training from him afterwards. But I do see him, of course, using the glaive at some point. I would love to see him against Bate, or again, who I've been saying for months now with Gyo-un. I think now is being set up perfectly for Shin to claim his life.
Yeah, but to me, I think the best chapter got to be that chapter with Moten and Shin lifting him up at the ground. I mean, when I read that chapter, I was like, wow, man, this is amazing. Like, this is like a story inside of a story.
You remember my reaction, man? I almost thought I had a heart attack. I see my boy on the floor. I'm like, wait. I remember because Darkseid told me he was going to send me a picture of him on the floor, and you're not going to know what's going to happen. And I'm like, if you had sent me that, I would have had a heart attack because one, I got spoiled. And two, I'd be like, yo, what is going on, horror, bro? I'm going to have to come swinging, bro.
When I read that chapter, I'm like, bro, out of all the people that do reactions to Kingdom, you have to watch Laz's reaction this way. You have to. You know Laz and Moten, you got to.
That's right. That's factual.
Yeah. Bro, I don't pray
anything related to Moten, bro. You got to come to this man's channel, bro.
I don't pray often. Like I should be praying more often, but bro, I pray like crazy after that reaction. I'm just like, thank God, man, that like God exists, because there's no way, like, there's no way you do that to me like that, man. Hard as the devil. If that's the case.
That's a shoot.
Oh my God.
My heart stopped. I'm like, if my heart stopped, I know for damn sure Laz heart.
Hey, listen, when Ohan does die, whenever point in the story, I'm telling you, my heart's coming back, like, you know, and now, bro, with the life return, and I'm jumping out that damn window right over here, man. I'll break the bars. I don't care. Like, it's happening.
I'm gonna put respect on Ohan's name after this arc. I'm gonna put respect on Ohan.
That's right. Damn straight.
Let me see. Where's the button to end the stream?
I also think of chapters where I don't know if it was like what 518 to 522 or 519 to 522 or like all that Moten hype. Them chapters was amazing too.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for it because when we got to see like little Moten and stuff chilling on the branch, I'm thinking, yo, where's his dad at, bro? You're supposed to be watching your kids, guys. He's on a cliff with the trees and shit. Like, I'm like, what? Like, I don't know, man. I love the hell out of that shit, man. Especially like getting a little insight too into like, you know, Gaku Gramps, also with Riku-sen, you know, being a challenge to Ohan, which I'm very happy with that, because if Ohan dies, then we can just throw Riku-sen in there. You know what I mean? Like, but honestly, factual answer though, we just put Kyokai instead. She's only worthy of that spot.
I feel like that's the only problem with this arc so far. Even though I know it's coming, it's like we haven't had enough Kyokai. Like, she kind of been regulated to like point out
of the high unit in general. We haven't gotten much.
Yeah, and I feel like they were just waiting for it. You know, it's obvious, and he even said in the manga that they're just waiting.
Yeah. See, like that's the thing for me. Like, even though there's so many amazing moments that have happened this year, I always look back to during my catch-up journey whenever I read 509 and 510. Whenever they're just chilling, the high unit just chilling. Like, to me, I think I love that group so much that I still remember those 2 chapters above so many others, because I finally just got to see these guys marking out over the fact that they all love Shin. Like, they were just sitting here and they were recognizing how amazing of a leader he is, and they were thinking about they were talking to each other like as if this guy's a man of legend. And even though like they've been through all the journeys and battles with him, they still consider him like a man of legend. And to me, I love that chapter because it solidifies that the journey we've been through thus far has been real. Like this man started from the bottom and he's getting there, man. And everybody's putting respect on his name, especially a squad who's been with him throughout the entire journey. And I loved that moment. Whenever those unnamed soldiers in the Hashira unit were like, yeah, man, Shin's the GOAT. He's a beast. And just like you were saying, I think that since we haven't had enough of the Haishin unit, the moments with the Haishin unit are very memorable because of it. Because obviously this year has been all about Moten and the stuff going down with Osen and Riboku. So the little small stuff we get with the Haishin unit is always going to be nice.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait for next year. Next year is going to have a lot of Yotanwa and Haishin unit awesome sauce. So 2018 is going to be a GOAT year for Kingdom, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see it two ways, man. It's either gonna be Yotama playing soccer with Roso's head after that fight, or we're gonna see this guy sitting right beside Yotanwa as she subjugates these people. I think that would be an amazing feat that you're able to subdue these people to the point where they ain't willing to throw hands with you anymore because they know how you are.
Well, Roso one person been shitting on that idea. I'm like, y'all cannot see that she could possibly have this man join her squad. Like,
if you add her, if you add them to her squad. Like, you understand? Like, okay, I remember, I think I talked to you about this too with Dustin. Do you remember at one point I said, like, it would be a cool thing to see if, let's say, like, they are subjugated and stuff, and we see a point where, like, kind of like reminiscent to the Coalition, where, like, at one point, Yotama's, like, beelining straight for Riboku from the side wherever, but for Ryoyu and stuff, wherever, like, it is stationed to where Riboku is, and he has no idea, again, the forests and stuff that are there, and all you just see is all these people running through Riboku, like, bugged eyes and stuff like it was in the Coalition. He just starts running back, because I can't see him standing up there, bro, to get ready for a fight, unless Hoken's coming through, but even then, man, Hoken better be getting watched by the Yotama greatness. Like,
you talked about how everybody, like, a lot of people are trying to call Yotama trash.
You know what? I think anyone that says that needs to reread the entire story of Kingdom and consider, taking off Fairy Tail from their My Anime list.
Dark Side.
Dark Side. Yeah, definitely Dark Side. Crazy shit. But Dark Side's the big homie too, man. So I can't say too much on him.
Yotan was the GOAT, bro. Her King's hockey is on another level. It's on a level that I haven't seen any other character that's still alive. Have. Like, she's. Yeah. I love Yotanwa, man. Her and her monster. That's why I'm so hyped for this battle, because it seems like these guys are almost on equal footing with their soldiers. So it's gonna be nice. I can't wait to see how they get out of the situation, even though I still see them coming out of it through sheer willpower, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, first off, what's called First Last might have to get kicked from the chat because he just said Yotanwa trash his bags. I'm gonna have to.
Always saying it.
The only reason why I'm not gonna do it is because he has a conky AVI, and if I did that, I know Dustin's gonna kill me.
First Last was one of the people that got me into Kingdom, so he's a good man. He's a good man regardless.
Yeah. I'll let his opinion slide this time. Oh man, but I can't wait, bro. Like, it's gonna be such a late year when it comes to Kingdom and stuff. For 2018, I thought 2017 was gonna be it. I still feel like it had a great year as well, but so many other manga too, I think, really stepped up and raised the bar in terms of quality of writing. I mean, Recon definitely can agree with me on this, but I think Gintama has to be in that conversation when it comes to a writing standpoint of the story. Like, we look at the comedy aspects and stuff, but I think the way how we're getting closer with all these characters and stuff without going too much into detail, I think he's doing a fantastic job, because a lot of series would just gloss through it just to get to the main factor with the main characters and stuff. I mean, look what happened to Naruto and how it ended. Like, all these other characters are trash now. We don't they don't have that same love that we used to have back then. And then Bleach, we don't even talk about Bleach on here. So I have to throw that shade. But I mean, every other series has that amazing stuff too, man. Haikyuu, One Piece. I mean, it's had, for me personally, I know it had some of its ups and downs. I'm not a fan of Sanji with the cake, but everything else though, it's been fine. I'm definitely excited to see in 2018 when Luffy does pound the life out of Katakuri, and then whether or not he goes up to Big Mom, we'll sit up for another discussion, Dustin. But I gotta say this right now, if it does come true, and if you guys are not subscribed to Dustin, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Go subscribe to the big homie, because he's been calling this shit for well over a year. He deserves all the praise. And I see Ty out here battling the Yonkos, but honestly, man, at this point you should be one-shotting them if you get this right.
I completely agree.
Even if I disagree with the thing, I still feel like he has to be one-shotting these guys, no doubt.
Dustin, bro, I have to say one thing, man. Thanks to you and Sunpatch and whenever we were together in the Reverie, man. Whenever y'all were hyping up Neverland, dude, I'm catching up to it right now. Promise Neverland is GOAT, bro.
I still got to read the recent chapter, but the recent arc that we're in right now, it's gonna be lit, man. It's gonna be really good.
I just read chapter 23, bro. The reaction should be up in like an hour. Oh my god, man, dude, that chapter had me so shook, bro.
I can't wait for you. Crone is in that chapter or something. Something with Crone happened.
That was the Crone chapter, bro. Oh my god.
I can't wait for when he gets to like 30, 31. If it is where the
so this isn't even the best, bro. Oh man,
no. No,
Man, this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning.
Yeah.
This is an appetizer.
And then I also got back on My Hero, so like I'm enjoying both a lot right now.
Yeah.
Greatness, man. Yo, Shonen Jump is in such an amazing state right now, dude. Like this is
It is, man.
It's pulling on nonstop fire. I'm not even caught up to all the series in it, but out of the series that I'm catching up to and that I'm currently caught up to, man, dude, there's a lot of greatness coming out.
Because I was gonna point this out because when I saw like the lineup for like the top 10 sales and stuff when it came to Weekly Shonen Jump, and I know they didn't do like from 11 to 30, but from calculations that someone did online, I saw we have 8 series in Weekly Shonen Jump that made the top 30. And Promise Neverland, had it gone at least I think 300,000 more copies, it would have overtaken Magi for the number 10 spot.
Okay. Well, Magi, it's understandable because it just ended, so like people are trying to get the
I was expecting it to get that high because I mean I dropped Magi after 323, but like for me it's just like I wasn't expecting to get that high. Even like I mean, Assassination Classroom, I love the hell out of it. I was not expecting to get number 2. I expected to be in the top 10 when it concluded, but nowhere near as the second behind One Piece. Like that is insane. You know, it had a decent anime, but like, damn, I didn't see Magi up there. And then again, when Neverland gets its anime, I do feel like it's gonna be the next juggernaut. Like you gotta put Madhouse as the studio. You gotta grab the guy who did the OSTs for Death Notes as the guy. The only person I will consider worthy enough to touch the anime's songs.
Facts. I completely agree. Well, yeah. It's gotta be that, bro. If they get the composer who did the Death Note soundtracks to do something similar for Promise Neverland, oh my gosh, man. Dude, I'll tell you this. I think Promise Neverland, whenever that anime comes out, and let's just say that like that we could possibly get that My Hero, another season of Haikyuu, which I'm waiting for because I'm on anime only for that. Like and all this stuff like in 1 year. Oh man, dude, that'll be like the most goaty season because I'm only 23 chapters in Promise Neverland, and I already want everybody to read the series because I think it's absolute greatness, right?
Yeah.
And that's why, bro, I'm stressing. Like in the last Kingdom video, I was stressing hard. I was like, this is the 3rd best-selling manga in Japan, and it's not the first year where this has happened. It doesn't have a good anime. It doesn't even have a video game, and it's still a 3rd best-selling. What are they doing over there, bro? Like, what manga and what anime are they producing that is going to give them the same amount of either sales, whether it comes to DVDs or manga or ratings that Kingdom's gonna present, bro? They have to do something with Kingdom, man. It's bringing out 6 to 7 mil a year. It's competing with Attack on Titan and flipping One Piece, man. Like
you give it. I'm telling you right now, Kingdom had a good anime. Attack on Titan would not be touching number 2. And like at this point, you would give One Piece I wouldn't give it a run for its money, but it's gonna come up there breathing down its neck, man. Because the people like I think it's almost like if you guys have watched what's his name Super Eye Patch Wolf, where he talked about like Shonen Jump in the 80s, but how Fist of the North Star was that big thing where like because the people were enjoying like the manly stuff that was going on, they were able to relate to that because of like adults and stuff rather than like Captain Tsubasa, which is based on kids. I could definitely see that for Kingdom because like with war, it's something that not a child's gonna understand, but something that adults are, and because like a lot of these adults were kids growing up reading Shonen Jump or like they're reading like manga as a kid, they're gonna want something that they can relate to, like what's going on, especially with what's going on right now in the world, like as stupid as it is. But like people are gonna want to see that stuff we're in war, people that they can believe in because of the situations that they're in and stuff. And I feel like Kingdom would definitely be that thing that grasps onto them. And sadly, we live in a world, man, where Detective Conan is getting translated on Kingdom, and that's disgusting.
Hey, watch out!
That is disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
Shout out to Quinn in the comments, bro, and Tim.
I'm blocking Quinn after the stream, bro.
Hey, Quinn's sending a camel spider your way, dog.
He wasn't joking, dude. I got a transaction thing from him.
I'll be arguing with him on Twitter about Detective Conan too. Detective Conan is great. I just feel like it just spends so much little time on the main plot that it's hard for me to keep my attention on. If they spend more time on the main plot, that should be one of the greatest series ever.
Yeah,
I really like Conan from what I've read from him, and it's greatness.
I'll be honest. If Quentin can give me a good an essay on why I should even bother considering giving the first chapter even a consideration, I might consider. But even then, man, like if he sends a camel spider to my house, I'm Harry striking my place. I don't care.
Harry strike, dude. I'd AC 130 the place if I ever saw a camel spider. Dude, I'm bringing out Shin's Glaive, bro. After the wolf junk, man.
Hey, after this chapter, I'm bringing out Gyoun's, man. I'm just be lift that thing up. Haku's gonna be like, "Yo, Nani?"
Oh my, what she did?
Oh my, Nani? Boom,
boom. It's over, bro.
So lit. What's it called? But I know that you guys got to run afterwards, Recon. So I'll probably wrap it up here. But Dustin, is there anything else you want to say? Because I know you just jumped in late. Regarding Kingdom, if you want to say anything else?
Go read The Promised Neverland.
Go read The Promised Neverland right now, man. If you haven't already, you got to read it, man. Because once that anime comes out, I'm telling you, it's gonna blow up. Like I enjoy. I've been reading Suits since like the beginning and stuff, and like I realize how much the hype it has right now. My feelings, I won't say too much in the detail, but in the second arc, my feelings were kind of waning a little bit until we got to later into the arc, and then now the way the third arc is being set up right now, it's looking to be absolutely lit. But I'm looking forward to seeing how Neverland's going to go and going into 2018. I think just in general when it comes to Weekly Shonen Jump, man, Haikyuu is going to be entering probably like I know for Dustin who got caught up to Haikyuu, like 2018 is going to be absolutely nuts if we're going to get the conclusion of what's going down in the manga, and then of course for the later events, Gintama, for Recon, I know like
end, bro.
We're beginning the final arc of the anime come January, so we January know 7th. Like we're just waiting for that five chapters remaining.
That's all I'm waiting for.
Yeah, and then afterwards, they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. They're gonna do that.
So from what I was told in the comments, it looks like the volume 73 is about to wrap up, and then volume 74 is gonna be after. So it's safe to say that Gintama has around 7 to 8 chapters left. It's safe to say. So we're gonna be reading Gintama up until like February, March, supposedly. Which is going to be incredible to me because for one last time I get to read Hunter x Hunter, One Piece, and Gintama in the same week. So one final time.
Yeah.
So
I just pray that Gintama doesn't end, like, because I know like for Gintama, like, because if like whatever you're saying, like the 7 to 8 chapters, because I know like my birthday falls on a day when Weekly Shonen Jump officially comes out, so that would break my heart if the final chapter comes out like on the day like on my birthday when I'm reading like Gintama, like that would.
Oh yeah.
I would hate my birthday afterwards because that's what Sriracha. But then again, it's like Sriracha's sick in the head, so at the same time I'm 50-50 with it. So like
he's sick. But at the same time, Laz, since we're both started with the anime, to me it's gonna be like a Bleach situation. Like for me, Bleach ended, but to me it's still never gonna officially end until I watch the ending in the anime. Yeah. Because that's where I started with it, right? And like for Gintama, when Gintama ends in the anime, when I hear Sugita's voice actor sign us off, then that's it. That'll be the end of Gintama for me. But like the manga's gonna end, I'll be extremely sad. But when it ends in the anime, that's when it's over. So that's gonna be around like summer. So
yeah, like I'm doing everything in my power to get this PC set up so that way like I can do the reactions to when the Silver Soul arc comes out. At least if I have to do it for one anime, it must be a Silver Soul arc.
Yeah.
So just to
that's the arc. That's the last arc in the manga.
It's the last arc of the manga,
yeah. It's the longest arc too, because Gintama does not have long arcs, but this arc has been really long.
60 chapters, something crazy. Like it's been longer than that. Probably.
Let me see. It started on chapter 596, and we're currently on 663.
Yes, so it's gonna be like. I don't even know. I'm not even doing the numbers, man.
Yeah,
it's too early.
Bro, Fair Watch Sugumi was only 26 chapters, bro, and right now we're in a 63 chapter arc, man. Oh my god, or no, not even 63, like over 70 chapters, I think.
Yeah, and then going by the anime and stuff, like one of the greatest arcs in all time, it was only 7 episodes.
Only 7 episodes, bro. My favorite arc in anything is 7 episodes, bro. Can you believe that?
And what's crazy is that so many series try to go through like hundreds of episodes trying to get to the point, and Sriracha knows how to do it. Let's say like in half an episode. Like if that's not talent to me, I don't know what is. Like
facts.
Yeah, hype at the time. I'm gonna read it anyway because I did like the first episode I watched in the anime.
Yeah, it's just for me, it's like when the way Recon explained it to me when I was getting into Gintama, it's like I looked at it from the comedy aspect, but when he told me like to really pay attention to the writing parts of the story and how he's able to construct like these storylines and stuff, where like it's gonna seem goofy at one point, but then like there's like a meaning behind it, and like I mean, I won't say like too much spoilers with it, but like I cried for a damn dog. If Recon knows exactly which episode I'm talking about, I cried for a damn dog, and that's how good like twice. Yeah, there you go. Twice. Sriracha's like sick in the head like that, but like again, I would put him honestly up there as one of my favorite mangakas. And even though like where I'm at right now in the manga, and like my heart hurts every time I open up the page knowing that Sriracha's gonna break my heart. I have to put him up there as one of my all-time favorites. Like he just knows how to tell like a great story, make me laugh, make me cry, smile. He just knows how to do it all, man.
I'll tell you this, Dustin. When it comes to Gintama, as I can tell everybody, just have patience with it. Don't expect it to be serious. Just go into it expecting like just try to get to know the characters. Especially in the early parts, even whenever you see the first arc. For the first, I would say 100 and something episodes, it's Sriracha's still trying to learn how to tell a story, and after a certain point, which to me is after around like episode 150, first for a lot of other people after episode 214, then you're going to really figure out like, Sriracha knows what he's doing, because Gintama really is a series to where he knows, like he gets better as time goes on in both comedy and in actual like serious storytelling. It's a mixture of both. It's kind of similar to One Piece, but kind of not, like in the way that the that the story is told into which he can go from a very, very comedic moment to a very serious moment in an instant to make it work. It's kind of like that. But it's a very, very character-driven story. It's a story that really makes you try to get attached to the characters. So when something happens to said characters, it's much more impactful than if you didn't. So there's going to be a lot of like one-shot comedy episodes. There's going to be, but every single one of those comedy episodes always has a deeper meaning. And whether you find that out then or later on down the line, you'll find out. And but I will say this in terms of like a journey of catching up to a series. I don't think there's ever been a more unpredictable journey than Gintama, because you never know what the next episode is going to have. The next episode could start off with the most ridiculous jokes and end off with you crying. It's an insane journey. It's something that you have to be patient with, but I guarantee you by the time you catch up, you will, even if you don't think it's one of the greatest, you will definitely say it's one of the most unique and one of the most emotional probably experiences you've ever had. It's and that's Gintama, man. And hopefully by the time it ends one day, when it does end, Sorachi's able to end it on a high note to where it will go down as one of Shonen Jump's greatest, because I truly do think it is one of Shonen Jump's greatest.
It is definitely.
That was one hell of a pitch, boy.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, man. If you ever need a surname and stuff, you know, when it comes to like church and everything, I'm telling you, Recon will convert you. If you're an atheist, he's converting you to Christianity, man. That's what's happening. Like, I'm telling you, it's happening. But yeah, man, go, like, you know, as I was saying before, go check out Neverland, check out Gintama if you haven't already. I know Miles is in the chat right now. Professor Anime.
He just watched Red Spider, bro. I was so hyped. Dude.
I had to rewatch that arc again because, bro, I need to see, you know, the greatest, man, of my girl, who I can't say the name, but he's saying in the chat, but I can't even see it, man.
Greatness.
Oh, you know, she's fat. She like top 10 for me all time, man. Oh, I love her.
Hey, speaking of that, Laz, bro, one last thing, man. When that game comes out, if they don't include, because so far it looks like we're not gonna have co-op, but they're gonna release one last thing. Well, not one last thing, but for Jump Festa, because I was reading up on something yesterday where they stated in the latest V Jump where they revealed like the Goku Black and all that stuff and Fighters, which I'm so excited for. But they also released some Gintama stuff, and they said that all playable characters have still yet to be announced. So can you imagine if they announce like all these characters that we've been wanting to play as is playable? Because they said there's a lot of assist characters, but not every single playable character has been announced. And they said that after you finish the story, there's going to be additional side stories. So hey man, listen, bro. If they make certain goats playable, man, I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to shoot on the PS4, bro.
Listen, man, I'm not gonna go into the detail, but if we're talking about Kagura, right?
Yeah.
Now I gotta say that, you know, the special woman in her life, which I'm not gonna say her name.
Yeah,
if she's playable, I'll tell you right now. If there's a legendary edition for this game, I'm buying 2 copies, bro.
Yeah, 2 copies. Dude, you know, I even went as far to say that I'll buy the special edition if it's the only edition where I could play as Joey costume Takatsugi, bro. I'll pay $80 just for that costume, bro.
That'd be $100 for me. I wouldn't mind, man. Honestly.
I wouldn't mind, bro.
Oh man, but I was seeing like just to go touch upon it like Gintama real quick, because I saw like your reaction to like the trailer list, and when I saw like Stan User was a Katsura fanboy, I'm like, oh, so that means if he mains him, I gotta find somebody else new.
But technically, both of you can, because there's like different versions in this game.
Oh, well, I'll play like this though. If he wants Katsura, he can take Katsura. I'll just take Elizabeth.
Facts.
I'll beat some people with the sign and shit. And that's it. Man.
With a side, yeah, man. For me, dude, it's gonna be Shiroyasha and Sugi, bro. I'm gonna be, of course, I'm gonna be using all of them. And Nobume looks like she's gonna be really, really fun. But nah, man, I gotta use the boys, bro. Yeah, get in Sugi, bro. And of course, you know, that mode of Kagura, no question, it's gotta be playable, bro.
God. I don't know if Miles got to that. Or wait, is Red Spider after that arc before?
No, Yoshiwara happens before.
Oh my god, man! Damn it! I can't wait to replay that, dude.
Yeah, that's a goat arc.
Oh my god! Because dude, for me, Court Scene of a Nation. Like I won't go too much into it, but Court Scene of a Nation, man. Like that's where I was like, holy crap! Sriracha's like writing is insane.
Yeah, for me, like I recognize it in Courtesan, but for Davis was whenever I said, all right, this is one of my favorites. This is up there with One Piece, bro.
Wait, I just realized right now. Wait, so Stan User could take Katsura because I'm going to take the other Shiroyasha. You know what I'm talking about?
No, but I think he's only an assist character. I think that's what they said because remember in the trailer reaction, I was so mad because I was like, "What? He's an assist character?" Like I was raged.
Bro, my heart's broken.
I want to play as a dude.
I'm canceling that pre-order, man.
But hey, since they said they're adding more playable characters, hopefully, you know, they changed their mind with some of these.
If he's playable, man, I'm telling you right now, it's the greatest game of all time. Like,
yeah, man. I can't believe that comes out within a week of fighters. That's gonna be a go week.
I can't wait for. I hope, man, we get more news on Jump Fest. I need 17 to be playable in that game.
Yeah, and
if 17 is not playable, that's a disappointment, man. Like,
I mean, Jump Fest is gonna have so many announcements, bro. Yo, I can't wait for the My Hero Academia trailer for that game, dude. Yeah, they released a scan with him and Shigaraki in front of each other, and I thought that was pretty goat.
Yeah. What was I say, Dustin? Are you getting PS4 or Switch? Because I know you said something about you're getting a console soon.
I'm gonna get both, I think.
Good man.
Well, as long as you're not getting Xbox, man, I appreciate you more.
Hey, what you got against Xbox, bro? Our online system is fire.
I mean, that is factual, man. When I play FIFA before on Xbox, man, it's actually lit compared to PlayStation.
Yeah, that's why I got FIFA for Xbox. I don't lag.
Oh man, I might have to Harry strike Sony. I don't know, but yeah, pretty much we're gonna wrap up the stream here because I know Recon, you got to dip, and I legit got to leave too myself. So I'll have everyone's links down in the description below who showed up today's live stream. Appreciate you guys coming through, Recon, Dustin, and of course everyone in the chat right now. Them skiing, Share, Auntie, Dog Eyes, Tim. I see him there as well. Professor Anime. I saw Steve in there as well.
He's been wilding lately.
Yeah, he's been wilding, man. He's been wilding for real, bro. Let me see. First Lask, Black Midoriya.
That's a beast name.
Yeah, that is a pretty beast name. I can see that being revealed in the manga soon. So let me just make sure. I don't like leaving everybody else left off. But yeah, that's pretty much everyone here. But I appreciate you guys coming through. We had like 15 people coming through and stuff. And I know it's like a last second thing I set up to get the stream going. But I appreciate always having like, the people who I've been rocking with since I started this journey when it comes to YouTube. Like I've been talking with Recon since like last year, where like even long before I started watching his channel just as like a fan and stuff before I commented on his videos talking about Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And just to have you on here, man, like honestly, speaking as a fan of your content and stuff, I really truly appreciate it. Even though now it's like we went from being like, to a fan to a content creator to being like the best of good brothers, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate that, man. And then always having like Dustin coming on here, man, because like I'm telling you, man, that Melozo stream, listen, as much as we go after that Zao fanboy and stuff, I think that's what connected me and you when it comes to a lot of our series and stuff. And like we have our difference in opinions, but I know at the end of the day, bro, it's all love. So I always appreciate you coming through, man. And you're always welcome to the streams anytime.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, I love seeing the growth of you guys that you title yourselves the worst generation, man. It's whenever I saw that tweet, I was like, yo, that sounds hype, bro. That sounds like really hype.
Because for me, it's like at the end of the day, when I look at like if this journey were to ever come to an end and stuff, I realize like those 11 people that I've been with since I started on here, like those are the people that I always look back and say, like, if we ever make an impact, a statement in this community somehow where one of us, gets to certain levels or they obtain the great general status, and, somewhere down the line, someone goes out with an illness or they die in the line of battle at the very end. We came from this spot, this little pocket. And we know there's only one person in this arc that we know from our fanboys and stuff in the worst generation that might be going out soon. So we already know who that is, man. Shout out to Mel. Yeah, man, we got 17 people. I mean, everyone's coming through now at the end because I think they realize, we have a gold stream going on. But with Weekly Shonen Jump going on break, I'm gonna see if I can try and do another one of these. If you guys are available, just like have like just a shoot stream. Basically, we're just talk about whatever.
Yeah. So I'm trying to catch up to both Neverland and My Hero as quickly as possible before the winter break ends. So if I actually manage to catch up to at least one of them, it would be awesome to do like a Shonen Jump stream, just talking about the whole year, man, because it's been one hell of a year for Jump, bro.
Yeah, well, because I know Dustin, we're doing our stream for the worst generation. I believe that's December 31st.
Yeah,
time to be determined, I believe, because we're looking out for like everyone else, their time zones and stuff. But if the goal gets caught up to Neverlands, I mean, we gotta dish them the invite.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's gonna be kind of like where we let people like come in at certain parts and shit. But that stream gonna be dope. I'm trying to make it to where it's like one of the dopest streams of the year. Like,
definitely, man. I look forward
and it's the last stream, so it's gonna leave a lasting impression. So.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, exactly.
That's gonna be so dope, man. I can't wait for that. Just to have like everyone like that's because for me like it's special in a way because again, like I said, I started this in like the end of January, and then to see like where my channels come across, just not even from a sub count view, but just from the fact that like of the people that I've met on here. To the fact that like I remember what Dustin knows this too, but like being Zoro fanboy who like is my alleged brother, like that's crazy, man. Like just the fact that like just meeting all these people, not knowing that like like these paths would ever be crossed one day, and the fact that like they've had, and now seeing where I came from like January till now, it's just a beautiful experience, and I look forward to 2018, man. I think for all of us, we're gonna have like an amazing year, even if it's not from like just from like content and stuff. But I think it just as as people in general. Like I feel like we've improved so much as a community. I think like, you know, that's a big shout out to Roger. I think is like at one point in time, people didn't want to communicate with one another because of affiliations or just being like, you know, alienated because one guy was a Naruto fan, one guy's a One Piece fan. And now at the end of the day, it's like, we're fans of anime and manga. Who cares about the criticisms and stuff, unless it's with Detective Conan and Fairy Tail.
Yeah.
But
He's gonna say Conan.
I will slider Conan until, you know, I get hit with the glaive. But
yeah, I understand, bro. If Conan to you is what WCW is to me, I completely understand, bro.
You know, that's a perfect analogy. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. That's Eric Bischoff gang who wrote that manga. I would say Hogan had creative, but that would be putting it too much.
Hogan doesn't have creative, bro. He doesn't have creative.
Shout out to Kevin Nash. But yeah, man, we're gonna wrap it up here though. So yeah, everyone's links will be down in the description below. Who came through, Angry came through, Recon came through, Dustin came through. Mel couldn't show up today. I guess he knew that, like, you know, we would have gone after him for that comment on Olsen. But Mel is a big homie still too. Regardless, I'll have his link down in the description below to all the worst generation members of the game. Who come to the channel and stuff just to talk about whether it be One Piece, Kingdom, regardless of whatever series on here, just to be a part of this journey for me and stuff. You know, just being on here, you know, it's always awesome, man. But thank you guys for coming through as always, and hopefully we can come back here, you know, whether it be under the weekend, whether it be before the year ends, to talk about the greatness of the best selling. I need no. I need King Recon to say it for me, man. Please say it for me.
All right. I got you, bro. I got you. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember to continue reading what we all like to call, without question, the best-selling seinen manga in the past, let's just say 2 to 3 years. Remember to sub to my main man Laz, who's putting out these consistent stream discussions and live reactions to the chapters. Remember to sub to my main man Dustan, who's putting out the awesome sauce on a daily basis. And if you like my stuff, go ahead and check out these guys anyway. Screw my stuff, man. Screw my stuff. I'm catching up to the greatness. I'm catching up to the greatness that these guys are talking about. So when I get there, then you can come back, yo. But thank you all so much for stopping by. And once again, the Kingdom awesome sauce. I hope you all have a great day.
Peace, guys.
Peace.